Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to be joined with Ellis Steward. He is now five. Last time I had him on, he was 2-0. Now he's 5-0. And thank you for coming back on.
No, thank you yourself, Sam. Thank you for having me back on as well.
Anytime, mate, anytime. And we'll talk about your 3 fights you've had so far this year. You fought Fernando Valencia.
Yeah.
That was a 4-rounder. That was in March. And for anyone who hasn't seen that fight, explain how the fight went and how the fight went.
Yeah, I boxed really well in it, to be fair. He's a tough Spanish Mexican. He's Mexican, trains out of Spain. He's a tough man, and I knew it was going to be one of them fights where to push the stoppage was very hard. So I went in there and just boxed off my jab, kept it long, and I felt like I boxed really well. I was finding some angles and getting some good shots off. Obviously, I won every round, which is good. And yeah, I feel like I boxed really well. So yeah, it went well.
Was he awkward? Did he try and was he awkward?
Yeah, a little bit, a little bit. He's got a very unorthodox style, and he's hard to work out. So it took me maybe a round or so to get into the fight. But I spar all the time with different people. I'm used to different styles, so it weren't something that took me by surprise. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And of course, they said that these journeymen try put you in like sort of trap sort of things. And is it hard to get out of those traps because they are?
I think as long as you're smart, you'll be all good. If you go in there and just expect it to be just a scrap, then that's the wrong mentality to have. I think you've got to go in there full concentration, and you've got to have a good boxing IQ. Otherwise, they can catch you out. I found that in my last fight as well, especially you have to use your brain a bit, and it's not just about throwing punches. It's like a high level game of chess. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of thinking involved with it.
Mm-hmm. But you fought Steve Davis in June, who you was meant to fight him in March, wasn't it?
Yeah, correct. I was meant to fight him for the Valencia fight. But I believe he got cut in sparring the week before or something, lost in his final week of sparring. So he had to pull out, and I had to fight. Obviously, that's why I boxed Valencia. But yeah, it was another good fight, another good learning fight.
He comes to have a go.
He does. He really did come to have a go. And it was good. It was a good fight. It kept me. I had to keep alert. And he's one of them guys you can't keep. Sorry, you can't go lazy with. You know what I mean? Because if you go lazy with, you will catch her. So you just have to keep highly alert. And yeah, he's a nice guy. I really like him.
Yeah. He goes on the road, but you wouldn't call him like your typical journeyman because he always goes out there for a war and a good scrap, doesn't he?
Definitely, 100%. As I say, when I boxed him, I can't remember how many fights he had, but he was
4.
only 4 fights. So yeah, he was very he was lively. You know what I mean? He weren't, as you say, he weren't your typical journeyman.
He's better than his record says.
100%, 100%, and yeah. So big up Steve Davis, definitely.
But that was 40-36. Do you feel like you won every round convincingly, or?
Yeah. I felt like he was a bit shorter than me, Steve, and I felt like I dominated him with my jab. Not in a disrespectful way to him. I just felt like I outboxed him. And yeah, I think I clearly won every round. So yeah, I think I boxed really well in that fight and showed my ability. You know what I mean?
Good stuff, mate. Then you fought Vasiv Mamedov. It was Saturday just gone.
Yeah, correct.
And it was 58-56.
Yeah. That was you know what? It was a really tough fight. It was exactly what I needed. And my dad put it forward to Steve Goodwin originally. For the fight, said it'll be a good test for for Ellis. Obviously, I need to step up bit by bit. And it was perfect for me. The first round I won. I felt like it was a close first round. It was because it was my first six rounder. Took my time, kept it on the jab. Felt like I won the first round. Second round, I was boxing really well, and then the last 30 seconds, I actually got caught with a shot, a long right hook in it. To be fair, giving me due, he wobbled me. But I held on to him, got through the round. Obviously, he won that round, and
Was
then I
that your
felt
first
like,
time getting like stunned, wobbled, sort of thing?
yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been hit before in sparring. I've been flashed and that, but it was the first time I sort of my legs went from underneath me. But I I adapted and I knew what I had to do. I held on to him, got through the round, and probably took me another round to recover till the end of the third round. But I won the third round. I think I won the fourth and the fifth as well. And then the last round we had a bit of a war, which was good for the fans. Maybe not for me, but it was a good fight, and I enjoyed it. And I learned a lot from it, which is exactly what I needed. You know what I mean?
Would you say the scorecard 58-56 was fair? Because Vasid messaged me afterwards and he thought he won.
Yeah. You know what? I don't believe he won. Not that's no, as I said, no disrespect to any of my opponents. I don't, but I believe that he won the second round definitely because obviously he wobbled me. There may have been one round where you could have split it 50-50, but apart from that, I felt like I did outbox him. But yeah, no disrespect for him. I don't think he won. And I felt like I was the clear winner and I was the better boxer.
Mm-hmm. And yes. So do you think that's a good 6 rounds to get under your belt?
100%. As I said, it was one of them fights that I'll learn from. I know why I got hit with the shot that I got hit with. And I'll get back to the drawing board, and in the gym I'll work on that and make sure it don't happen again, or try to hope it don't happen again.
Mm.
I'm always in the gym to improve. I don't, and I'm always my worst critic. So yeah, there's loads of things that I need to work on. Obviously, I'm still only 5-0, so I'm not massively in a rush for push for titles or anything. So I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna work on things, and we'll push on to the next fight.
Mm-hmm. Um, was did you feel better in there over the 6 rounds than you do when it's a 4 round fight? As that was your first 6 rounder, did you feel
Yeah, you know
better?
what? 100%, 100%. I think everyone in the gym who spars with me would agree. As the rounds go on, it works out better for me. I don't have to obviously rush anything. If you lose the first round in the 4 rounder, you've got to win every other round to win the fight. Otherwise, you're looking at a draw. So it's a bit more pressure. But I feel myself that I've got a good engine on me. So as the rounds go on, I can settle into it, and I feel that I can I can slowly push on as the rounds go on. And I think as you get to 8 rounders and especially 10 rounders, when I box for titles eventually, I think that will be the time that you'll see me start stopping people and really hurting people because I'll break people down. It don't always happen in the 4 rounder, but as the 6 rounders, 8 rounders, 10 rounders go on, I feel like it will work out better for me. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. And of course, going on to your teammates, of course, you've got Linus and Brad. Of course, they've got 2 fights coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
correct.
is it have you been? Did you, because you were in camp for the one with your fight against Mamadov? Were you training? Like, were you sparring with them? And of course, Balraj as well is making his return this weekend.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, as far as as I say, it's perfect because we're all middleweights. We're all boxed at the same weight, so the sparring is wall to wall in our gym. Obviously, we still go to other gyms and we have other people coming down, but we've got all within our gym as well. So yeah, I do a lot of sparring with Brad, a lot of sparring with Linus, which is brilliant experience.
Balraj is
And
fighting Mamadov this week.
that's correct. Yeah, so he's got the same opponent that I've got. Which respect to him. He's fighting 2 weeks in a row. Big respect to him. So yeah, it'd be good to see Balraj get back in the ring. and get back to winning ways. So yeah, I'll be there for that one. Definitely, I'll be in the corner helping my dad. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Brad and Lioness's fights as well. I think it should be a successful few weeks for the team. You know what I mean?
So with Balraj, is it a bit irritating that, of course, you're both wanting, well, to be looking for like a southern area maybe next year? Is it annoying that you're both like at the exact same weight?
You know what? We'll work it out between us closer to the time. As I say, I'm not in massive rush. I think Barrage might push on a little bit quicker because he had a few more fights than me. Depending on how things go with him, which I'm sure they'll go well. But I think, yeah, we'll work it out between us. Obviously, let's say, for example, he's Southern Area champion, I'm coming up to Southern Area. I'll wait for him to sort of push on and
Vacate,
and
then
and then obviously
go
I'll
for it.
look to go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we obviously won't fight each other because we're in the same camp. But yeah, like we'll, as I say, we'll work it out. It's not a problem.
What would have
Um,
happened if Balraj beat Mitch Frearson, because that's who Brad's fighting? Not next
mhm.
weekend, but the week after.
Yeah, so listen, if that would have happened, then once again we would have worked out between us. I think Brad would have probably boxed someone else, and Barrage would have defended the Southern area or something, and then Brad would have boxed someone else for the English. You know what I mean?
Do you think Brad will stop Frearson?
Um, for instance, as I say, I haven't actually seen massive amounts of him. Obviously, I see the couple rounds he had with Barrage when he stopped Barr. But apart from that, I haven't seen massive amounts of him. But Brad's looking very good in the gym, and he's got a lot of power, Brad. So if he catches anyone clean chin, I'm sure it will hurt them. If not knock him out. So I've got faith that Brad will do it, and he'll come through victorious. Whether it's on points as a stoppage, I don't know,
Will you be
but
in the
we'll see.
corner for Brad?
I will be. Yeah, 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 yeah. I will
So,
be.
so, so you're like, are you like the cutsman or?
So my dad actually does the cuts. So he's done cuts all his life. Done it for James DeGale. Done it for loads of boxers. He's Danny Williams. He's done it for. So he's always been a cutsman. So he's the main man for that. But I just help my dad as a second, and there's one other we've got in the corner in our bus as well. And obviously I give a few instructions as well because I'm in the gym with them all the time, and I see how they perform in the gym and what their abilities are. You know what I mean? So
Second time lucky for Brad, do you think?
say that again, mate.
Second, what do you think of Brad's performance against Denny, and what do you think went wrong for Brad?
Um, to be honest with you, I don't think it was the best Brad that there could have been. There was I've seen him perform a lot better in the gym, and maybe the occasion might have taken over a little bit. I don't know. You have to ask Brad that himself. But I think, yeah, I don't think it was the best Brad out there. And he'll come back stronger, and he'll prove that he is worthy to be English champion, which 100% he is. He's at that level. And he'll show that on the 23rd, definitely. But it definitely wasn't the best Brad Pauls in there against Denny, 100%.
And of course, Linus Yadofi is fighting Kieran Conway, I do believe, on the Leewood Warrington card.
Yeah, correct. That's on the 7th of October, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good fight. Linus is looking really sharp in the gym. Sharp, fit. He's more than ready. I'm sure he'll be able to jump in there now if he needed to. But yeah, come the 7th of October, he'll be more than ready and ready to take that title.
And then you've got, so going back on yourself, you've got on BoxRec, I'm not sure if this is your opponent because it might change with injuries and stuff, but at the minute it says you're fighting Ian Morrell in 6 rounds.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I haven't. I don't know massive amounts about him. I think Balraj stopped him in his second fight. Ian Morrell, I think.
Yeah, we did.
So he
Balraj
did. Yeah.
knocked him first round.
Yeah, I remember being in the corner for that fight, but it was a long while ago, so I don't take much from that. But yeah, it's just to be honest, mate, I don't really look too deep into my opponents. As you say, they can change at a drop of a hat. Someone get injured, someone get ill, something could happen. So I don't really look too deep into it. I just make sure that I'm 100% ready for every fight I get into.
Hmm. And of course, I think he fought this weekend just gone when you were on the card.
Yeah.
He fought Constantine Williams. Did you get a chance to watch that, or were you on after?
I was on a couple of fights after, so I didn't really see it properly. But I see him box. I think I see a round of it. Yeah. So I didn't, as I say, I didn't really see too much of it, so I can't really take much from it. But yeah, he definitely did box that lad. Yes, because I was in the same change room as him. So yeah. Um, yeah. I think he's got. I don't know if he's got another fight lined up in between. I'm not too sure. But yeah, as I say,
He
I didn't
probably
see
does
too much.
because you've got September. He might fight next week. Who
Hmm.
knows? Or this week, or he might fight because he might fight October. But there's
Yeah,
not tend to be the shows go a bit quiet in October.
yeah, they do. Yeah, yeah, I'm not too sure, but as I say, I'll be ready to box, and I'll be 100% fit. Either way on November 25th.
Of course, it's another six rounder. How many more six rounders do you think you would have before you look to move on to 8 or 10 rounds?
I'd probably have. I ain't in no rush to say I'm 5-0 now. I'd probably look to have another three, maybe four, 6 rounders, and then I'll maybe look at eliminators for titles or something. But as I say, I'm in no rush. I'm working at my own pace, and whenever my dad is my coach thinks I'm ready, I'll be ready. You know what I mean to take that opportunity.
Would you go down the route of the southern area, then English or international belt, or see what happens?
Yeah, definitely. I like the idea of the traditional route, obviously southern area, and push on to English. But as I said, each fight at a time. I see it as each fight is your biggest fight. You know what I mean? Because if I lose my next fight, then it pushes me back steps. So I got to take each fight as serious as each other.
Mm,
And it's baby steps. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I'll look at the traditional route, southern area English, build up from there.
yes. Um, who do you think's gonna win between Lee Wood and Warrington?
It's a good fight, very good fight. I think Lee Wood beats him. I, on points, I think it'll be. I don't think he'll stop Warrington. Warrington's tough, and he's a good fighter, Warrington. I feel like he's had quite a few hard fights though, Warrington. And I think Lee would might just nick it on points. But I'm looking forward to that one. I'll definitely be watching it after Linus's fight.
Oh yeah. Well, I presume you'll be there, won't you?
Yeah, I will be. Yes, I'll be working the corner with Linus. I'll be in the change rooms, and hopefully, I'll be able to get a decent seat to watch it after.
Yeah. So yeah, I reckon that'll be a good fight, but at the minute, because Woods, I mean, if you've seen his last fights, he's got that because he can, especially with that Lara second
Yeah,
fight. No one expected him to do what he did that second time. I thought it would Lara would catch him again, but Wood
yeah,
stayed composed and he even dropped Lara. And
uh-huh.
even though he his record don't say he's got heavy hands, Wood.
He has. Yeah, definitely. I think he boxed really well against Lara. In the second fight. It was a disciplined performance. And he kept to a game plan, and he
Didn't
boxed
do
boxed
anything
out of his
silly.
skin. Definitely not. And you know what? To be fair, I'll give it to him. Even in the first fight, he boxed really well. He just got caught,
He
unfortunately.
was just trying to trade left hooks with a Mexican, and you can't do that. But
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
fair play because whether that fight ended with Lee Wood, Ben letting didn't throw if let's say if Ben Davison didn't chuck the towel in, then I don't think he would be able to have rematched Lara that quickly.
definitely, definitely. I think, yeah, as I say, he was boxing really well. He just got caught, and it was a brilliant left hook that he caught him with, and it just took him out clean. But yeah, big respect to him. He got back in there, and he proved the second time round who the better boxer was.
And that Lee Wood's always in a very. I'm always on the edge of my seat because I mean, with that Conlon one, I mean,
Oh,
what
what a
I
fight
mean,
that was! What a fight! That was definitely fight of the year for me. And it was a war from start to finish, wasn't it?
yeah. I mean, the winners because Verdo Lopez beat Conlon.
Yeah.
Verdo's fighting, I think, Saturday morning.
Yeah, I think he is. You're right. I think he's fighting. Yeah, like late Friday night, so early hours in the morning on Saturday, isn't he? Out in
But
America
he should
somewhere.
get past that guy, and then hopefully, if he wins that, he fights the winner of Levy Warrington, and I think Warrington's coming off a defeat to Lopez.
Yes, you may be right. Actually, you may be right.
He hasn't fought since. I don't think
Has he not fought since? Yeah.
he
So
hasn't
yeah,
been on a good run of form though, has he? If you look at his last 5 fights,
who's that? Warrington.
yeah.
Yeah, he's as I say, that's why I think um that Lee Wood's got the upper hand on it. He's had good momentum as well, Lee Wood. And he's boxed class in his last fight, and I think he just outclassed his Warrington. Warrington's a brawler, comes forward, moves his head and throws over the top, and I don't think Lee Wood's going to allow Warrington to do that. But yeah, as you say, from the last 5 fights, on his box record, it probably doesn't look the best, but they've all been good opponents that he's lost to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what about not sure if you're interested in this fight, but Tommy Fury v KSI?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't got massive interest in it. And the whole YouTube boxing, he's don't really
Yeah.
appeal to me. But to be honest with you, Tommy Fury's got beaten really. When you look at it on paper, he's boxed since he was a kid. He calls himself obviously a boxer, and technically, Pastor is just a YouTuber. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong. I actually don't think he's that bad of a boxer. He's probably the best out of all the YouTubers that do it. But realistically, Tommy Fury should beat him, and comfortably as well. Realistically, he should go in there and make a statement and stop him. But whether he does or not, who knows? We'll have to wait and
Well,
see.
he's got us because whether he just now forget his pro box, like I mean, when I call it proper boxing, like boxing real boxers,
Yeah.
then just fighting YouTubers for money. I think maybe he's just chucked that out the window, but
Definitely. I think you know what
because
it's
money
a
talks.
of course it does. It's a hard situation. Listen, he obviously calls himself a boxer and wants to fight real boxers, but if you're getting paid millions of pounds to fight a YouTuber and you're earning really good money and it's an easier fight than you would be going boxing for a world title or whatever, or even a British title, then
I
it's a
would prefer to
win-win.
say that I've won a tight. Just don't get in the YouTube scene. I just
Yeah,
leave it. Why don't you just try and
definitely.
do stuff in the pro scene? And in a way, it sort of gets that Fury name a bit down a little bit. And
Yeah.
Fury fighting and Tyson Fury, that is fighting Francis Ngannou. I mean, come on.
I know. Yeah, you know what? See that Ngannou fight? That's another one. Just it's not. Listen, it's wrong to say it's an embarrassment to the sport because he's done a lot for the sport, Fury. But
Yeah.
it's just
But you don't see anyone else doing that.
no, not at
Usyk,
all.
AJ Wilder, they didn't go off and fighting in an exhibition when they're WBC champion
Not at all. And to be honest with you, I think
or world champion.
I think he is sort of avoiding Usyk a little bit. To be honest with you, I think he's trying to get him at the right time, and he's dragging it out. And there was situations where
Was it a
Usyk
low
said yes to
blow?
all the money. Was it a low blow? Oh, it's good. You know what? It's tough on our question. It's tough on our. It was to me. It was on the belt line. I think it all depends on the referee. Some referees would call it low. Some referees would would say no, not at all. I've seen shots which have been like that before. There have been haven't even been blinked at, and they just let it go on. And I've
So
seen
when
shots that
you're
have
in
been
there,
like
what
that.
did the ref say to you? Like when you fight, what did the
Mm,
ref say? The belt line's okay?
Yeah, often they bring you to the middle of the ring. It all depends where your shorts are, I think, as well. So if your shorts are pushed above your belly button, he'll tap your belt line and say, "There's good," um, and there's good in the other opponent. Like if it's below the belt line, they might say like the top of the belt line's okay, but the mid belt line may not be. I think it's all dependent on where your shorts lay on your stomach as well. But I think, don't get me wrong, I think it did. I think it did hurt him, like hurt, and it did crush his balls a bit because I think it lifted up his protector. So as he got hit, it sort of lifted him up a
It
little
was
bit.
sort of it was a bit of a weird one because the punch sort of went like that.
Yeah. So I think it caught him flush at first, and it hurt his body, and then it sort of lifted him up after. So I think it got his balls after, but
If the ref started counting, do you think he would have got up?
I think he would have. Yeah, I think if he started counting, he would have got up. I think he done the right thing by taking the 5 minutes that he needed. But don't get me wrong, I think he hurt him to the body as well because Usyk doesn't take the best body shot as it is anyway.
Do you think there's any point of a rematch in that one? Because it was always gonna whether that was a low blow.
Yeah,
It was all, in my opinion, even like it was always gonna go Usyk's way.
definitely. And I think everyone's saying that he was robbed out of winning the world title. We should be world champion. That's a different scenario because when you're in the scenario that ref starts counting, he probably would have got up and carried on and got through the round and probably still ended up the same way, I believe. And I believe the rematch would be the same. And I think if they had a rematch, Usyk would probably step on the gas a lot earlier and get him out there a bit earlier.
Yeah, and want to prove his point and just.
100%.
But in my opinion, I don't really want to see a rematch.
Neither do I. To be fair, the fights I want to see, I think, are
Usyk Fury and
Usyk
Wilder
Fury,
AJ.
Wilder, Asia. Exactly that. I think they're the main two fights, and then the winners face each other, and even maybe the losers face each other. That'd be a good fight. But they're the main two I want to see. Apart from that, I'm not really interested in seeing massive amounts of heavyweight fights. I think they're the main four that you need to keep an eye on. You know what I mean?
And what's your thoughts on this, especially with Matchroom at the minute? Loads of drug tests are coming back
Hmm.
positive. And do you think that small hall should be treated the same, like they should test whether that's even a 4 round, a 6 round, a 8 rounds, 10 rounds, no matter what fight, every fight should get tests?
Um, yeah, I believe it's a good idea, but the issue is obviously every time they test, the whole drug testing system costs a lot of money. UCAD, VADA, like it's a Matchroom spend a lot of money on their testing.
Oh yeah, because it will cost so much for the smaller hall shows.
Of course, and
That's the
obviously,
only bad thing.
I think the small hall shows don't earn the money to be able to finance that, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But I think Matchroom's doing a good thing in they think they've upped their testing, and I think they're catching the people out who are cheating, doping, which I think is a lot of people in boxing.
But yeah, they're
Obviously,
letting
yeah,
Hellenius, who came back positive,
yeah,
if he knocked out AJ, he could have severely hurt him.
100%, and
No
I think
wonder AJ was so cautious.
1,000,000%, and I think it's good. I think, and to be honest with you, what Aurora said, was he saying getting a 10-year ban if you or
But yeah,
20 year
10 years or 5 years, I think.
Yeah, I think he's right. I think if you get caught cheating, I think you should get a straight 10-year ban, and that will ruin your career. Yeah, correct. But you shouldn't have been cheating in the first place. And I think there shouldn't be anyone coming out with the excuses like, "Oh, it was in my meat, it was in this, it was in that," because no one else gets caught for it. You know what I mean? It's just a cover up, really. And
Well, Conor Ben seems to get away with it.
I know, and you know what? I like Conor. I know him from Linus, what used to spar him, and I believe from what I believe he's sort of out of his situation now, and he's sort of getting through it. But as I say, it doesn't change my mind, even though I know Conor, that if you get caught doping, you should get a 10-year ban, what Chisora said, because it's unfair on other boxers for one, and two, it's dangerous. You know what I mean? And
Well, Zolani Teti knocked out Jason Cunningham, and
yeah,
I think it was doping, and
yeah,
he badly knocked him out, like badly.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. All it takes is someone to get hit and have a brain hemorrhage or something, and it's all over. I mean, my dad unfortunately had someone who collapsed in the ring and had brain hemorrhage and died, and he was a pro, and he didn't even really get hit. So it just shows that it can happen. Obviously, it's rare. Don't get me wrong, but if someone gets hit from someone who's been doping and they end up doing serious damage, and it's manslaughter, really, isn't it? And they should go away for a long time for it.
Yeah, but going away from this a bit of the sour side of boxing, how much are tickets for your fight on the 25th, and how excited are you that you've been really active this year? I think this will be your fourth fight this year, so pretty active this year. And I think last year you said to me that you wanted at least 3-4 fights, and that's what you're getting, which is good.
Yeah, I'm over the moon with how Steve's done for me. What he's done for me, he's been getting me fights back to back. And he's done as he promised. He promised me 4 fights a year, and he's got that. So I think September to September, I've managed to get 5 fights, which is brilliant. And I think he's saying he's going to keep me busy and get me another 4 fights this year, which is exactly what I need. So that's perfect. Ticket wise, there will be £50 for unreserved and £65 for ringside. Every bit of support is greatly appreciated. And I wouldn't be able to do it without everyone that comes. So thank you very much to everyone who has come to my fights beforehand. And thank you to people who are looking to buy tickets for the future. It's, as I say, it's much appreciated, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you lot.
And before I let you go, do you want to just thank anyone, as always, whether that's just sponsors, trainer, managers, anybody?
Yeah, I'd love to thank all my sponsors. You know who you are. They're tagged in my Instagram if anyone is interested who they are. But there's a few of them, and I can't thank you all enough. Without them, I wouldn't be able to train as hard as I train. I wouldn't be able to dedicate my life to boxing. So yeah, massive thanks to them, and a few that are actually jumping on board at the moment, which I will give an Instagram post about when they're on board. Yeah, massive thanks to them. Massive thanks to my coaches, obviously my dad, Danny Barber, who's a new coach on board, who's been in our gym and he's just got his license. Massive thanks to him. Wouldn't be able to do it without him as well. My manager Steve Goodwin, and just everyone else is involved. I can't thank you all enough, as it's a team effort. You know what I mean?
And well done on your win on the weekend, and yeah, thank you for your time as always, mate.
Thank you very much, Sam. Appreciate it. I'm always here for an interview when you want one. So thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, mate, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Cheers, mate. You too.
Bye.